Hello, welcome back to BSLIVE. In this video, the inspiration for today is coming from Mirai Mizue, the artist on Twitter. He or she draw this type of animations, right? At first, you might think it's like a Donald Duck, but the shape is actually Doraemon sister. Okay, the robot from the future from manga by Osamu Tezuka. Yeah, that's Dorami. And yeah, as you can see, the shape, of course, oh, this is random shapes, and then it's actually hand drawn. And then, if you got the right shapes, if you made the right shape, put it on the right place, following the procedures to draw a certain character, you end up with some kind of aesthetics, of course. Yeah, it's kind of obvious, but it's kind of interesting as well. So I've been experimenting with AI stuff. Some people call it generative art. It's AI art, generative art. Yeah, I like actually the word generative and also syntography. It's kind of you have an idea that you want to sync together, whether the inputs is the image over here or your doodles. Currently, I have this Stable Diffusion AI. I have all kind of models already downloaded, a lot of models, and I got these abstract things that's continue being generated every 30 seconds or something, every 1 minute, depends on the what kind of details I want. So the original image is coming from Blender. It's pretty random and abstract, like this, right? You might already guess how I created this. You can use box cutter add-on, and then on top of that you can use something like random flow. I got it already installed. If you want more extra tools, you can also use grid modeler. Okay, so I recommend those three to create something like this. If you have plasticity, of course, plasticity is really powerful, especially it's parasolid, and just the ability you can quickly cut. I already talked about this many times in the previous video, but I just want to iterate on that idea. So everything we do here, if you think about it, every step is actually something that you can repeat, right? It's obvious. There's a certain procedures if you want to model something in order to get to the original concept. So if you have like a concept art, for example, if someone give you this, and then the person say, okay, I have these concept ideas. Can you make this into 3D inside Blender, or can you make it into 3D? Whatever software you use doesn't matter. Use Blender, Maya, Houdini, whatever. I want this type of image, right? I have these concepts. The concept was, this is actually kind of doing it in reverse. The concept is being generated using AI. All this generative art, I call it infinite generative art. I just want this inside my game engine, or I want this as 3D, right? Just recreate this. So you gotta have to do like a backward kind of thinking, reverse engineer this, and then recreate it inside Blender, right? Or using plasticity, whatever 3D apps you are using. Few months ago, if we are doing generative art, we actually end up with something like this, because there is not much of control. This is like, I think, image to image, although I'm actually using like a Stable Diffusion. Nowadays we actually have ability to use ControlNet. Version 1.1.201 is actually quite powerful now that we have this control type that we just click. The one that's useful is like canny, depth, normal, open pose if you are doing like figure and you want to pose your character in a certain like a bone position, like a rigging. MLSD, the one, this doesn't always work. Supposedly turning artwork into lines, and then you use that. There's line art for your line art, artwork, scribbles, shuffle. Um, yeah, but currently with this generation that's running in the background, maybe I should interrupt this. I'm using two ControlNet. The first one is using Kenny. So Kenny is turning this artwork into this kind of black and white outline. And the other one is this normal diffusions, turning this artwork into some kind of normal. So the AI will understand the latent space. It will understand the better understanding of the kind of similar to depth. I think front and back sort of thing. Some, if we are looking at 3D like this, we know that some areas at the front and some other areas is at the back. Anyhow, I have something like this, right? It's pretty random, and this is the one that's sent into AI, and then start from that simple render. We want to do something. Okay, I'm using a Sanctus material. I like this metals material especially because this gives us ambient occlusions, and it's kind of giving all sort of detail. It, like, even though it's like super simple, it looks simple, but it's not really. I just take a screenshot because I want to do it quickly. So that image is on my desktop. It's I just use a square image. I just drop it there and drop it on the other guy. And then if you want to see a preview, we can click on this guy. It's gonna do the canny pre-processing, and we get this outline. Okay, the outline is cool. The same thing with the normal. It looks at this image, process it. Okay, we get this outline. We can actually increase the pre-processor resolutions, and we have all sort of thing like balance. Or you want the prompt to be more important than the control, or vice versa. Let's just hit generate for 10 generation. I specify green and red light dramatic. That's why we get like kind of like a greenish and red artwork over here. I call it concept image, and the output is going to be 512 by 512. I'm using Dream Shaper. Maybe I should have used Epic Diffusion or Epic Realism. Epic Diffusion sounds cool. Let's use Epic Realism. So like I said, I have lots of models collected over time. Yeah, now it's doing the diffusions. This is the prompt that I give, but we can use any kind of prompt, but we're gonna get a render, right? So this is like a concept art that is based on this guy. Okay, if you want to see how I actually do this, we start with the default cube, and it's gonna be random, right? The original process I like to do is a little bit random. I call this like a 3D therapy. I don't know what it is. It could be just kind of like a madness, a bit crazy. If you're, I don't know, an artist, always a little bit mad, right? You should be obsessed with your tools. You want to find some kind of beauty, aesthetics, and of course, normally, like a 3D modeling is not random. You want to model something that's already existing in real life, or maybe it's something that you have in mind. using your imaginations. You have something in mind you want to do, but sometimes you really have nothing in mind. I like to think of it this like musicians, okay? Musicians with all sort of instruments, but I'm thinking like a kind of like a digital artists, digital musicians making musics. They can be a little bit random. They can quickly record something. If we are like a 3D artist, we don't record something. We scan things, right? And then we bring it into Blender or something, or into game engine. Yeah. So while talking, I was doing some random stuff. I'm using Box Cutter version 7.1917. So I just gonna keep talking about what I'm thinking at the moment. But you can be pretty random. Okay, so far I only cut in these ways. I mean, maybe too simple. Super basic cut, but it's still showing you an idea. It's pretty random cut, but like I said, it doesn't always random. But since you're an artist, you still want to find like you don't want to make just random stuff because it's gonna look like noise. It looks too random, right? But don't stop there yet, because maybe you can find something out of it. Okay, by the way, I'm in this mode at the moment. Sometimes I like to have ambient occlusions of Eevee, although it's often too disturbed. I mean, we don't get much detail, so you can switch to Workbench. With Workbench, we can still have shadow and cavity, but we get this kind of detail, which is kind of nice. We can turn on outline as well. So yeah, we get this with Box Cutter. By the way, you don't just cut. You can actually hold. You create something and then you can X. You can X to go through it, and then I especially like this mode. XX X, so 3 times X will give us this kind of inside detail. Okay, anyway, I have 2 objects already. Save this as box logic. I know it's so far pretty random. Maybe I should do one more. Box cutter is on. Random cut. Random cut is super fun. Maybe I think there's a mode with box cutter where you also do the opposite. So this one goes in, but you can go up, right? You should be able to go up. I mean, with the grid modeler, maybe. I forgot. I mean, Blender has its own add cube where you can just draw a cube, which is kind of should be. Yeah, it's like box cutter, but you're drawing box on top of your original object. Anyhow, okay, we have 3 objects already, and I'm gonna merge this one. These 2 can stay there. This combine. Command J. Oh, right click, convert into mesh, and then combine everything. This one also right click, convert into mesh, because we want to delete all this history from box cutter. Now we have this. Okay, are they random enough? Maybe they're not random enough. Could be okay. I mean, it's good enough. We can render this out. if you want something more random, okay, I'll show you. We have this surface that's pretty clean. You want to have more details inside it before you send it into AI to see the outcome. I want to show you. Right click, modifier, remesh, modifier, remesh, block. So block will give you this kind of grid, and then Command L, link or copy modifier. We have this. Right click, convert to mesh, apply it, and then we can use random flow. Okay, random flow is cool. It's a little bit tricky to use sometimes, but I got it already installed, and then the hotkey is Shift Q, random loop extrude. I will use that. Oh, no face selected. I will select all the face, and then random loop. Okay, it gives you this random extrusion, and it works 100%. It works really well if you already have nice topology objects. Okay, and you can join them, but they are basically like multiple objects, and I like this a lot. So select all the face, Shift Q. We got all these options to create loop, panel, tubes. I'll just use the first one. Okay, it's random enough, at least for this example. It's all about some kind of random. You can do this manually, but again, sometimes this type of detail, if you use procedures like random flow, that's some kind of automations for you to add details. It's a little bit more random. Yeah, maybe this is what you like. I don't know. We are exploring the idea of having the tools. You can do like random stuff like the box cutter cutting, right? It's still like you're doing some manual works, and then you use this random flow. Add-on, and then now you try to find some kind of arrangement, composition that looks beautiful, so it doesn't look like too much like a noise. Okay, enough talking. Select all the mesh. Sanctus. Yeah, this. I only have this material. It's okay. Limited material. You might have limited resources, more resources than me or less resources than me. It doesn't matter. You can always be creative because you're human artists. Human artists supposed to be creative and more awesome if you have less. Okay, copy link material. This is what I want. But human artists tends to think too much, talk too much, not enough work done. Hopefully the AI can help human artists when human artists is a little bit tired and lazy, or not so much lazy. You're a bit tired. You want to have some fun. So we get something like this, right? Pretty cool. Perhaps a little bit basic, but we get something. Let's just screenshot this. If you don't want the perspective, you can pick the camera angle that you like. We don't know what it is. It's like a space junk. It's like a building somewhere on cyberspace. Anyhow, yeah, you can also do it inside plasticity. Plasticity have interesting behavior. You can be really non-manifold, and then things will just magically merge. Sometimes I mean, in Blender you can go in closer and make a cut, and and then you can use random flow. But with plasticity, it's like this random stuff. Yeah, you can also use this method. But anyway, this is the result. This is cool, right? The line art. This is the normal. The normal might be a little bit blurry in this case. I should have used, instead of using normal, maybe I can just use ControlNet depth, and then it's gonna try to generate depth using AI, calculating the depth. Yep, same process. So let's just do this, the one we just created, random, and masterpiece post-apocalyptic heavy metal structure buildings, dramatic light. Generate. Later on, if you want to have more details, yeah, you can do that. But so let's see. Let's observe this. Like what I'm saying, this is a result from randomness. It's 512 by 512. I mean, I can increase the resolutions using AI and then use that as a concept. Once we have this, and then if we go back and then recreate this inside Blender, it's going to be less random. I mean, you already have the base. You have the base already in a way. Would you be happy to recreate this, or you just start from scratch and recreate this? I think there's some kind of ways to actually achieve this totally procedurally using Blender geometry nodes, or scripted, or using Houdini. I don't know, but the detailing is where you kind of slow down a little bit, and then you kind of look at it. Okay, I want these areas to be painted this way. I wish we can go in, but the AI is already showing you some kind of result. So yeah, this is what we just have. I rotate it, but let's say this is our cyberspace city. It's a bit bright. Interrupt. I will show you one more step. Send this into image to image. Okay, so we are in this different setup, and I'm just gonna hit generate because I already have everything set up pretty much. Yeah, so this is the image, starting image, and then oh yeah, I forgot to change the bottom one. Let's interrupt that. The bottom one, we need to use this ControlNet, and then we drag and drop, and then just generate. What's gonna happen? This is 512 by 512, and I have ultimate Stable Diffusion upscale, scale set to 2, scale from image size. Original image size is 512 by 512. We can increase it. We can double this to 1024 by 1024, and then we can double it again and double it again multiple times until we get super resolutions, until the resolution is something that we don't care anymore because it's too much detail, but it's really convincing. It looks like a city. It looks like a render, and you can use that as concept art, which is again, it's I found it kind of interesting, even though it's random. Shape like this, I like this because like the character Doraemon is so simple. It's is from famous comics, and to draw Doraemon, or this is the sister of Doraemon, it's a cat, right? Draw the eyes, everything, the shape. It's like a little bit like Mickey Mouse. If you draw Mickey Mouse, there's a step in order to draw Mickey Mouse until it looks like Mickey Mouse. Otherwise, it doesn't look like Mickey Mouse at all. So this is actually just one variant, or this is could be just the root, the original root. I can take this shape and ask AI to make variations until I get the one that I'm happy with, and yeah, and then use that as a concept. And then from that concept, you go back and then create something out of it, and until you get a final design that's probably more or less similar to the original concepts, which is this one, like. So I think it's like a back and forth. I think that's the really the something I was thinking, Okay, now let's just do the plasticity for a while. We start with the default cube. There's this corner box. Plasticity is a little bit crazier. I mean, you can do whatever, like turn off the X-ray and just draw. Plasticity is like box cutter. Shift R, repeat, use box and cut. Shift R, use box. Plasticity, however, can go out. And then this part is already merged into the original solid parasolid model, which is pretty cool. And this is I wish I have plasticity 10 years ago when I start using 3D and using Maya. It will be so much fun. I can go really far. Back then it was like Maya, and then there's zebras. There is exercise of soft image as well for 3D. But I'm happy that we actually have Blender, at least, because Blender is so cool and it's open source as well. So it's you got the tool, you got powerful tools, and you got plenty of add-ons to model whatever you want to create. Okay, plasticity is cool. Well, I keep saying that because it is. There's so much thing you can do. Just push and pull. If you want to make any cut, you don't need to worry about face. You just extrude. When I'm doing it like this, it's almost like grid modeler, except that we don't have grid. I mean, we can always draw. Yeah, you can always draw on the plane here, draw any shapes and then cut, right? That's also super powerful. Select a face, space bar, make a rectangle, make another rectangle, and then I can cut. Yeah, I think this is like beyond. Yeah, that's actually incredible. Yeah, I found it incredible. 3D, anyway, it's gonna be so easy. I mean, the tool is gonna be so easy and flexible. Back in the day, it's like a pain to do this, and it's slow. Random box. I can call this the box logic. Box logic. Like animal logics, but I like this box kind of thinking. And then because we are using computer as well, and then we have AI, and we can basically do whatever, despite the controversy regarding AI and stuff. Okay. Yeah. I think the controversy is also because the 2D artists don't really understand 2D tools. The 2D artists, the more traditional 2D artists usually just do like a paint. They don't use 3D much. Some 2D artists also understand 3D, but they don't know 3D tools, and it's the AI scare them in a way. There is that kind of factor as well. Is there's a fear of AI is gonna take the job and things like that. The job will change basically, I think. Yeah, I don't know. This is not too random. This seems to have some thought underneath, right? That's because the way plasticity is designed, I think there's a cat underneath, so everything looks nice because you can just bevel some areas, and suddenly you have like a detail that looks like it's been designed. Not too random, but you can always bring this into Blender. File, save as, obj, save it on the desktop. So crazy box logic, and you can save it as tribe. I want to save it as quad or n-gon. Quad n-gon is actually okay. Now file, import obj. I can do this every day, non-stop, anytime. So it's like a procedural kind of thing. Now we can use box cutter. Okay, there's some kind of smoothing happening. Okay, I don't mind it, but it might drive you crazy. Right click, smooth, shade flat, shade auto smooth, shade flat. Yeah, okay. Some area becomes smooth, unfortunately, maybe because of the smoothing being turned on, auto smooth. There's a way to fix that, I'm sure. But now this is box cutter working on top of the plasticity. This is actually what I want to do since the very beginning of doing 3D. Something. And then of course after you make the model, you want to paint as well. Just do like a painting on top of this. Let's just save this and then give some detail. Sanctus material, metals, apply material, okay. Switch to cycles, have some kind of light. Okay, it's not random enough. You can always do like mirroring. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just do this. So it's similar to the video that I did a couple of months ago, a couple of weeks ago. The thing is, the AI is getting smarter, so you can do detailing much easier now. Look at this. Okay, the details. This works because we are using tile. So ControlNet 1.1 has tile resample. Okay, if you just click on the tile, it's gonna set up everything for you. Tile preprocessor and then tile model, everything is set up for you. Everything is almost automatic. Okay, not too bad, right? This I can do this many times, get all kind of variations. Before I go too far, I will just do the last one. Let's finish this thing. Generate. I told it the AI to create 10 variations 512 by 512 based on this image. We can actually see the depth and the, so it's doing this pre-processing underneath. The depths is being calculated, and yeah, it's creating something. I think our image is not exactly square, so it's being cut, but that's okay. 512 by 512. The diffusion based on this text from masterpiece post-apocalyptic heavy metal structure building inspired vehicle spaceship biopunk highly detailed art station sharp focus. Okay, you can specify the lightings. This is the negative prompting. This is the AI being generated. We can stop it, we can interrupt it at any time, or just make 100 and find the one that you like. This one is okay, I guess, so just send it to image and generate. It's gonna double the size now, making 1024 by 1024 based on this. Would be nice if we just, okay, based on whatever it's being generated, just paste it back, right? So Blender Dream Texture actually kind of doing that. You can actually do, okay, Dream Texture projections. You can use Stable Diffusion and then pick the model, use the same model, and then the prompting, negative prompting. For the input and project, you use the depth and color. But there's another modes that I haven't shown you yet with the Dream Texture. Using the maybe the depth or canny projections, canny, and then we can project whatever is being generated here back. So we have 3 more minutes. So yeah, the points I'm trying to say, random. Okay, if it's like a Lego block, right? If like box cutter or plasticity, all the tools is like a block. Of course, you don't always start from the default cube. You start with some kind of ideas, unless you're doing something random like me, or if you have like a Lego block and you're building your block using Lego instead of using 3D, that's okay as well. And then you just take a picture of that, send it into AI, create this kind of concept, detailed concept, and then you scan your Lego pieces, you scan it, and then you bring it into Blender, and then you have some ideas how it should look. So you start painting it into your 3D. It becomes something, right? Especially for concept arts for building cities or maybe a car. Yeah, it's like you can create anything. So you have this, I think the AI, one things that I think the AI teach me is that you can make anything, like characters, whatever, and then even the story. So that's normally in the past I thought, oh man, I wish I can have a concept artist that draws things for me, right? I wish I have a story I want to tell. I wish I have all these artists to help me. Of course, you can always do that. You can go outside and find. You need real human artists to do some of the works. the AI is kind of giving you this notion that anything is possible, and then you can do it in front of your computer, whatever, as long you have the AI running this stuff for you. And then so yeah, if this can become 3D, from this, I just want it to be real 3D. It's not impossible. It's gonna be possible, maybe in few years, or faster than that. Or in the meantime, you can source 3D artists. Okay, make this into 3D. I give you 1 day or 1 week. All right, this is the result of the upscale. There is these things happening, weird things in the middle, but we can clean that up. Anyhow, I know I made a mistake. We got something here, but I made a mistake. I forgot to change the bottom image. Oh my goodness. Text to image, I created this, and I should have used this for upscaling. I will probably do that. But you got the idea, I guess. The AI tool is fascinating. I don't know what's the final output's gonna be. It's a back and forth. You can remodel this in Blender, absolutely. I don't know if you're gonna get that kind of detail. If you're a 3D artist or yourself can remake it, then it's cool. And then you're gonna end up 3D printing it, or use it in a movie or inside a game engine for your game, whatever. Or this could be just an art. But like I said, this is what this is, random. Originally it's just random. So is everything gonna be random? I don't know. If you're like a musician, like I forget the name of the musician, but a lot of musician, like a DJ, that can remix music, visuals, and turning it into something that looks really cool. I mean, graphic designer normally have this kind of ability. Random pieces, put them together into nice visuals, and then make a nice poster out of it. It's a graphic designers definitely involved. So AI can kind of blend everything together. So what you need to do, you are the director, you need to put everything together and make sure it's aesthetically pleasing. It's all these infinite variations is nothing. You need to pick one that you like in the end, and then you, otherwise it's gonna be just noise. You have 10,000 or you have infinite renders. Which one do you want? You still need to pick one, or pick a couple, and then you use that as ideas. Yeah, all right. So too much talking maybe, but like I said, this is something that you can do every day. Same kind of process, random stuff, send it to AI, make random stuff. It's something, even though it's random, it's really something. And in order for it not to be random, every steps need to be precise. Like if you're drawing in the old ways, classical painting, you have a model, a human model figure in front of you, you draw the model using tools that to draw this model, and then you render it out, with shading and lighting. That's the classic way, and then it can get really, really complex, I think. So it's the painting will take a long time, maybe months or years. And that's 2D painting, and then you have this sculpture, and then nowadays, if you are a 3D artist, you do it on the computer, and then you have to, I don't know, if you have tools that help you work in 3D, like VR stuff, that's also another tools. Too many tools, basically. But you still, if you like, you use the tools that you have in your hand, even no matter how limited. Blender will run on any computer, for example. So that's a big thing. And of course, you have things like iPad Pro, and then if you want to do like sculpting using Nomad Sculpt, or I don't know, there are tools that gonna get you there. Even it's limited. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The AI showing off, giving me this detail. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. From this random stuff that into something like this. Who knows? In few months from now or next year, we're gonna turn this into 3D. Just like instantly. I mean, it's gonna be a dream. But anyhow, hopefully you find it useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.